Hello everyone. Let's start a new poem named as Daffodils, which is written by a famous poet, William Wordsworth. Now, daffodils, as you can see in this picture itself, it's about the beautiness of these flowers. The beautiful yellowish flowers, these are the daffodils, and here it is described by this poet, William Wordsworth. Now, why did he find to write this? Let's know about little more about this poet. So first of all, the Lake District is one of the most stunning areas of Britain and immortalized in the poetry of William Wordsworth. If you see in the poetry of William Wordsworth, you can see about the beautiness of the place, Lake District, and Grasmere was where the poet lived and made his first family home. And you can see he had traveled all over Europe, across France into Switzerland, and visited the Italian lakes. But having seen these beautiful places, he still described Grasmere as the loveliest spot that man had ever found. So in 1799, Wordsworth rented a small lakeland cottage, formerly an inn called the Dove and Olive Box, where he settled down with his sister Dorothy to concentrate on writing. The conditions were basic. There were no running water, lit by candles, open fires for heating and cooking, and a mere tide. But it was here during this period of plain living and high thinking that Wordsworth wrote his best and most famous poems. In 1802, William Wordsworth and Dorothy went on a walking trip to visit friends, but several days of walking across countryside and rough tracks, they arrived on the shores of Ullswater. A couple of years later, William Wordsworth was reminded of the beautiful sight, and then he started to write the poem Daffodils. So let's see by William Wordsworth, Daffodil, and let's see the poem is about. I wandered lonely as a cloud that flows on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretch a never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw, I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what will the show to be had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So let's try to understand this. In the first stanza, I wander lonely as a cloud. Here the poet is telling how he is lonely and moving all over, just like a cloud, and he is moving over the vales and the hills, the valleys and the hills. Here he is showing that how humanity is not separate from nature, but rather it's a part of it. The natural world, with a strong bond with it, is essential for the human happiness. So here the poet recited in the famous Lake District, a region rich in scenic locations, enjoying hills, valleys and lakes. As a result, the location is realistic in its entirety. So Wordsworth refers to daffodils dancing, a trait relatable to the humans. And in the second stanza, he says that the poet is completely mesmerized by the beauty of the flowers of other nature, where it describes its moves, togetherness, giving it a human character, and building an imagery in the reader's mind, how the flowers would be tossing heads while dancing just like humans. In the third stanza, the poet describes the dancing daffodil's beauty that can't be matched with the sparkling waves, and he is lost in that beauty that couldn't move his sight away from these shovel flowers. And suddenly he is again getting back to think what wealth would these flowers had brought to him. He's thinking about the wealth that he's gaining from this beautiness. And then in the fourth stanza, the poet is telling, according to him, the memory associated with the daffodils fills his heart with pleasure, making his heart leap up once again like a child. In this way, the poet highlights the role of nature, especially daffodils, in his life. So this is all about the poem. Thank you.